Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Spiritual Connection Show. I'm your host, Katie Augustyn. So I'm a transformation coach. I'm an energy healer. I'm a shamanic practitioner, and I'm the spiritual head of the Transformation Center CT, which is located in Westport, Connecticut. So at the center, we offer a variety of things. We have workshops, we have trainings. Monthly, we offer satsang, which is Sanskrit for in the company of truth. And we have been doing those in person outside, and we also do them on Zoom, depending on the circumstances. But that's usually towards the end of the month on a Wednesday evening. And I'm going to put up our website so you can check out all the activities that are going on under the events. So here's a slide with the contact info. It's transformationcenterct.com. And there's the contact info if you'd like to find out more. We also do individual sessions, of course, for coaching sessions and healing sessions. And we do those remotely or in person, depending on what you want or where you are, either one. Also monthly, we offer a shamanic clinic, and that's always the second Tuesday evening of the month. And there's information on the website about that. And we actually have something new coming up. And this is going to be an ongoing class. And we're going to meet on Saturday afternoons starting October 9th. And the name of the class is Spiritual Connection and Evolution. Yeah, so this is going to be a really interesting, it's a get together. It's an opportunity to be with other like-minded people and learn together. And also share, your journey like we're doing today. That's why I'm calling it Spiritual Connection and Evolution. So I hope you'll look up that and register. And you can take one of the classes, and then if you want to continue, great. Or you can come and go. But it'd be great to have a small group. We're going to keep it to a small group because we'll be meeting inside once the weather gets cold. Okay, so I'd love to see you there. So speaking of connection, if you've seen the show before, you know that connection is one of my core values. I just love meeting new people, connecting with them, hearing their story, learning from them, because, there's no real destination on our journeys. We're all in this together. We learn from each other. And I want you to connect with my guests each week and find out what they're up to and learn for yourselves, because everybody's great the way you are, but we can always learn more. So I'm really pleased today that my guest is Alexia Clonda. Welcome to the show, Alex.
Thank you, Katie. Great to be here.
Yeah, it's wonderful to see you. So I'm going to just read a little bit about you before we start for our audience who doesn't know you yet, okay? So I met Alex a few weeks ago at a TLC networking breakfast. And I just loved her energy, of course, in addition to her accent, which you'll hear in a few minutes. It's great. And I wanted to learn more about her and her journey. So I invited her to be on the show today. And here's a little bit of an intro about her before we get started. So Alex is a former squash champion and elite player, and she had the honor of representing her country of Australia in the World Championships and in other areas as well. She was a world #1 junior, amazingly, and later world #5. I'm just honored to hear more about that. I know we're not going to talk about that specifically, but maybe just share a little bit as we're going on. And she has shared that behind the achievements, there has been a life of adversity, including some health issues, which led to a journey of awakening, self-discovery, and a deep desire to help others. So I think that's what we're going to hear most about today. So again, welcome to the show, Alex.
Thank you so much, Katie. As I said, it's great to be here and to be part of, everyone's journey, because we all are here to make a difference in everybody's life. And if it's one life or many lives, we all make a difference. We're not here just to make up the numbers. Our energy, our contribution, whether it be big or small or whatever, we do matter. We do matter.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. So my journey, it's funny because I was an asthmatic from very early on, 10 months. I've never actually known good health, but I started to play squash at 13, pretty late. the coach saw me. He said, you have talent. And he said, if you live, breathe and eat squash, I'll help you become a world champion. I went, oh, okay. That was it. 4 years later, I was world #1, won the Australian and British junior titles. And then I came up actually when I was in England after I won the British, I got very, very, very sick with an infection. And I came home and I got sicker. My asthma was out of control. I was in hospital 8 times that year. I was put on all the drugs, put on 4 stone. Sorry, I've got to translate that. I put on about 80 pounds of weight through the steroids. So I was double my size, and I'm only a size 8. So pretty tiny. I'm only like 103 pounds now. So that my last year as a junior was gone. And then about another year after that, I was just coming back into it. I was determined to get back into squash because I was world #1. I already had a senior ranking, so I wanted to continue that. And I made a promise to myself, I'm never, ever, ever going to let asthma beat me or control me. And so I started my spiritual journey, well, actually a little bit before that when I was about 5, but my very first spiritual healing book I read was Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Body. And that just blew me away as an 18-year-old. That was in 79. So, wow, got angry. A lot of emotions came up. But I read it a couple of times and I went, yeah, I'm already doing some of this stuff. I'm doing it instinctively. So that was the real start of my spiritual journey. And I read more and more books, Deepak Chopra, Quantum Healing, The Road Less Traveled. What happened is I got right back into squash. I became top 8 in Australia, went on the tour, became top 5 in the world, represented my country. And I put what I was learning spiritually, I put to my squash, and vice versa. What I was learning in squash, I put to my life, and I would understand it through that spiritual aspect, through the mind, body, spirit, emotion aspect, not just as coming from, I want to achieve, I want to get a result. I was very process and progress driven, and I wanted to understand what I was doing and how I was processing information on every level. That's the spiritual, the body, the mind, and the emotional level. And the ancestral level as well, because I come from European heritage, Eastern European, so lives of struggle, of hardship, of conflict, of war. So understanding and getting to understand this more and more, I had stuff, my DNA, or what I was carrying in my DNA was actually very, very relevant and important in my spiritual journey, and it still is, because I'm still unraveling it. And this is like in my squash, I'm forever learning. I'm been in the sport 47 years now. I've, been at the pinnacle, but I'm still learning. And on our spiritual journey, we're forever learning. Like in life, we never stop learning. And this group consciousness, you're too old to learn. That's a myth. That really is a myth. If you think you are, then you are too old. If you think you are. But if you think you aren't too old and you can learn, and age is but just what you're feeling, it's only a number. So I feel and think young. I'm 60 years young, but I still act like a 20-year-old. I still train like a 20-year-old. So everything that I've been through hasn't been, it's been, okay, I'll change the wording from a challenge to an opportunity to grow and to learn and to be better, to improve, to grow, to learn more, to be more knowledgeable. So I think that is really important for everyone to remember that life just doesn't happen to us. We do create it. And how we think and feel and what we say will give us, the universe will provide us with experiences that just reflect what we say, what we think, and what we do and what we feel. It's not difficult to understand. I'm not saying it's easy. But I think if you really do want to understand yourself and be the best version of you through love. When you open up your mind to the possibilities of what if, and what if I could, when you're asking those kinds of questions that are going to, the universe is going to provide you with answers to help guide you along your journey.
Wow, no, that's beautifully expressed. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and the first step is awareness that this is possible. I think that
Yes.
because it seems maybe a little daunting if you haven't really experienced it or talked to somebody about it. That's what, it's interesting. I just had this conversation yesterday with someone else, and they thought that when you say things like that and someone is not familiar with it, they haven't heard that before, they only hear like this little bit of it, and they're like, well, that's absurd, that's stupid. But to me, it's an opportunity, if they even express any interest at all in learning about it, because all of this takes time. I mean, you've been on this path for a long time, so have I. We don't expect people to start to shift their views overnight.
No.
Right?
And exactly. It doesn't happen overnight. I didn't become a world champion overnight. It took time. We have a lifetime of experiences, ways that we have thought, we are programmed, we have ways, we've got habits. All we're saying is, where do I start? And at any moment, any given moment, you can start. It doesn't have to continue. And I'm not saying, look, people have had adversity in their lives. We all come from stuff. I'm not saying that. And I'm not belittling anything that you've come from. Embrace it, acknowledge it. What have I learned from that? But my health history, and I've come from, and I don't mind sharing this, I was abused when I was younger, and on every level. And it continued for quite a few years by a relative. And then I was abused again by a very close friend in the squash community. And it took me a long time to even admit that to myself. And then my habits on the squash court, I wanted to be a perfectionist. I wanted to do everything correctly. I used to get so mad at myself. I used to beat myself up, and train harder. I've had injury upon injury. I've had my back fused. Back issues, bone issues are connections with God, with the universe, with Creator. However you want to define that power source, that infinite intelligence, or the life force, or the source, it's what we do in spirituality, and you would understand this better than it. Well, you understand this like we all do in spiritual healing. It's not spiritual, is about knowing thyself and knowing that you are connected to where we came, the energy of all that is. It's quantum physics 101. And I'm not saying that it's easy, and it's definitely, spirituality has nothing to do with religion, but it is about belief and faith and the knowing. And as a squash player, I had that knowing that when I went on that squash court, I was going to give it 500%. And even when I was match ball down, and looked like it was all over, I still had this knowing that I could win. I was going to win this match. That knowing, that faith, that belief. So that belief in yourself that whatever you have come through, whatever you have been through, if you reflect upon it as, what can I learn from this? What did I learn from this? Then you will be able to shift your awareness, open up your awareness, shift your awareness to, now, what if I could? You are now opening up yourself to the possibilities of of growing. And this is where, no, everything that's happened to you in your life has happened for a reason. And trust me, that's why Louise Hay, I got really angry, the abuse and whatnot. I didn't ask for that. Of course you don't on a conscious level. But your subconscious, on an unconscious level, there's a lesson to be learned. You can do it the hard way or the easy way. And through our programming, sometimes we're programmed to learn the hard way. And that's what we want to clear, resolve, complete, So you can now learn there's a more loving, easier way to learn your lessons without going through hardship, without going through pain, without suffering, without hurting yourself or others. And you can grow with joy and happiness and laughter.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful, Alex. Yes, I hear you. So I'm curious now to hear about, what you are up to, how you're helping.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Oh, absolutely. Look, it's such a joy to be able to help people to, when they come in or when they speak to you, you can hear the anxiety or the, I'm not sure. And you can hear their fear. But when you're working with them there, and you go through a process, it's called one of my processes, Theta Healing. It's very profound. It's going up into a theta brainwave. And it's a meditative state where we're clearing old programs. So what I do is I sit with my client, I ask them a series of questions to get down to the bottom beliefs of what's holding the stuff in place that's keeping them stuck, or they're unhappy, or they're not fulfilled, or whatever it may be. We get to the bottom beliefs of what's happening. They start to become aware. I'm just asking them questions. They're actually finding the answers for themselves. And you can see, aha moments could be from this lifetime, could be from ancestors, could be in your DNA, from your ancestors, your history, could be from a past life. Wherever it comes from, these beliefs, it is what it is. So what we do is we clear those beliefs, we resolve, we complete, we bring all the lessons that they desired, because before we come here, we actually have, I think, a set of lessons we want to learn here, virtues. And again, not knowingly, but we want to learn some stuff because we're really a spirit in having a physical experience, in a physical body. So what we're doing is I'm actually asking them questions, so they're actually answering their own questions. They're answering their own questions through my questions.
And you call that Theta Healing?
Theta Healing, Theta or Theta, depending on what your accent is.
Right, because I forgot to put up your slide before.
That's right, yeah.
Website, ThetaHealing.com.
That's right, yeah.
With the name Alexia Clonda.
Yeah, exactly.
And your email is Mind Breathing Edge. So that's your company, Mind Breathing Edge.
That's right, because I also am a breathing coach. So for my own asthma, when I was, my goodness, 96, my asthma was out of control. I was on the nebulizer every hour. I was on massive doses of corticosteroids. We're talking massive doses, massive. And I was nebulizing every hour. I was on my way out. It's not been the first time. I'll just put a little quote. I love this quote. I might be the name of my book. I've knocked on death's door many times and death never answered. What that showed me is I'm here for a reason. I've had heart attacks. I've had septicemia where I've nearly died so many times. But I've always had this knowing I'm okay. I'm still going to be here because I think that there is I'm here for a bigger purpose than just helping squash players, than just helping my friends or family. I'm here for a much bigger purpose. Otherwise, I would have been, my doctors say to me, how are you still alive? And they know what I do. They know my spirit. They know what I'm doing. I actually have worked with some of my doctor's patients with stress management and all sorts of other things. But bottom line is, you can change anything. I'm here for a reason. I want to help as many people as possible. Theta Healing, I was at a very low ebb of my life. I had 2 failed hip operations. My corporate position, very stressful job, I was being bullied, sexually harassed. I was being threatened. I was being all sorts of things. And I was on the verge of, that's it. I'm over. I want to check out. I want to check out. Mm. So I opened one of, like Natural Awakenings. I opened one of our spiritual healing magazines back home. Oh, wow, there was an ad, just resonated with me. And I've tried many modalities, many. I went along, And, you know, like, oh, and I was trying so hard and I wasn't getting it. You know, they said, go and visualize white light. I'm going, what? Oh, anger, anger, anger. And no, it's all perfect. It's all perfect. You're getting it. Oh, I was ready to punch somebody out. Then when I started to relax eventually, like a whole year, I went to many of those courses, many of the Theta Healing courses, because there's many different courses in that. Like you've got basic, you've got advanced, you've got dig deeper, you've got you in the correct, you've got many, you know, sub-modalities in that, or categories in that. So what I did is I kept on going because I knew, no, this is shifting some stuff. This is shifting. I can feel it. And I'd already had my hip hop replacements. I was in 24/7 pain. I was on some major painkillers. And the more I was doing the courses, the more I was allowing myself to shift, and the more I relaxed and realized that whatever was triggering me, it was only a trigger, it was opportunity to clear it. So no matter what emotions I was going through, I went, thank you. This is an opportunity. I can, oh, wow. My awareness was getting more, it was heightened. And so I started to really shift some real major bottom beliefs. And from my mum, from my dad, from my ancestry, from past lives, I'm going, whoa. And I was getting visuals of a past life. I was getting you know, I went up and connected with Creator and with some deceased, passed over ancestors. I brought my dad in. I was thinking, oh my goodness, this is a whole new world to me. And it just like, I've been doing it for 12 years now, and I've never looked back, and I'm forever growing. I'm not saying, stuff doesn't come up. It does. All it's telling me is it's time to release this now. It's been long enough. It's come up for a reason, to clear. Dive in, Clonda, dive in. Let's go. Let's clear this once and for all.
Yeah, it's so interesting how that works, isn't it?
Oh,
and
absolutely.
well, you're an amazing being, because you're very determined, and a lot of people may have given up. You know, like you said, it was challenging, but you're here for a reason. And
absolutely. And the other thing I do is the breathing for the asthma. That's why the Buteyko Breathing Method. I sat there in class going, this is BS. I had to eat my words after 4 days. Because guess what? I went pretty much cold turkey on my medications. I didn't nebulize. But what I found, when you change your breathing, and no one, as an asthmatic, no one actually taught me how do I breathe properly? Through the nose and the diaphragm. I was a big chest breather. And I'm going, this is so simple. Why? I go to one of the major, you know, teaching hospitals in Sydney. Why aren't you teaching me about good breathing? So again, dived into that. That was in 96. What happened is a lot of emotions were coming up. Whoa. And way back then, we didn't learn about the emotional side of when you're breathing, it shifts your emotions from your cells. And whoa. So I've been doing breathing coaching for a long time with elite athletes, Olympians, kids, 88-year-old emphysemics. And that was fantastic to see the shift in their breathing, that physical and that relaxation. Because when you breathe normally, when you breathe through your nose and your diaphragm, you actually switch on the parasympathetic nervous system, the relaxation response. Profound. So now with the theta, when their emotions come up through the breathing and shifting their breathing and changing their breathing from bad breathing to good breathing, wow, I can get in there and shift those emotions. So those shifts are they're here to stay on the physical, emotional, spiritual, and mind levels. Very profound. And that's why I love what I do, because at the end of the day, when I've got somebody in front of me that is smiling their head off, you can see their energy shift. It's like palpitating, and because we all give out energy, and you would know from your own experiences. Oh, yeah, I love this energy. So it is profound to be able to help one other person. To me, is bigger than winning a world championship. No doubt. A world championship is for me helping somebody else. You shift their energy and they're going to play it forward. And that is major. That's major.
Right. And I do believe that that's really what we're here for. Like you said at the beginning, is to help each other. And I think if we come in with that knowledge, even if you're looking at someone that doesn't seem like they're very positive or they haven't made a contribution, I think that everyone does want to contribute and make a difference. It's just that they haven't, because of their programming, their background, whatever, has happened in their lives or their ancestors' lives, they don't know what to do. It's just
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's why I think we love what we're doing, because we're just helping them. We're facilitating. We're allowing them to open up to what if. We're opening up to their own abilities and capabilities. That's what we're doing. We're opening up for them to believe in themselves, that they are so capable of doing whatever they desire in their lives. They have choice. They have free will and choice. That's all we're doing. We're opening them up. We're opening up their awareness.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's beautiful too, because you're right. We're opening them up so they can see the possibilities and start to experience it. And then they can just take off. That's what I witness all the time.
That's it. And that, to witness that, whoa, it's powerful stuff. And that's just it, as I said, that energy you pick up, and it's that beautiful exchange of that loving energy, that giving energy. And the other thing, a lot of people don't know how to receive. So it's about opening yourself up to receiving that loving energy as well, because it's a two-way street. When you open up to that energy of not just giving, because if you just give, you start to get resentful and, oh, not enough for me. But when you say, I am worthy of opening up to that receiving as well, then wow, then you start to soar. Fantastic.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely right. Because for some people, that's the hardest part, is the receiving.
It is.
And the acknowledgement of that self-worth and that self-love.
Exactly.
Starts with that,
It does. That's where it does start, with yourself. When you love yourself, that is projected automatically. It's automatically. And that people will gravitate to you, and you will attract like-minded people. You will attract the energy that you give out. You will attract. So what kind of energy? Remember, universe doesn't know. The universe, your subconscious, whatever you put out, it goes, yeah, I'll deliver it to you. What are you telling the universe? What are you putting out to the universe? What are you telling your subconscious? Your subconscious, the part that runs us, doesn't know fact from fiction. So tell it what you keep on expressing, what you truly desire, and you will experience it. That's quantum physics 101, the energy.
Wow, that's so true. Yeah. So Alex, are you practicing all of this in person now? And how long have you been in Connecticut?
I have been in Connecticut now for 4 months. I was doing squash camps. I'm actually leaving Connecticut. I'm moving down to DC, but I will always have a connection. I wish to do workshops here in Connecticut, so I'll be coming to and fro. But I do most of my sessions online, which is fantastic. Which is absolutely fantastic, as you have been, Katie. I think one of the great things, the pandemic, I think, is a great wake-up call. To be able to connect with people online and through technology, it's opened up a whole new world. And we're working with energy. So I've actually helped people with the text messaging. I've done a session with text messaging.
Amazing. Yeah.
It's energy and the intention of doing good for that. For all. Yeah.
We can all work that way. So I'm putting your website up again so people can contact
Thank you.
Thanks again for being on the show. It was a real pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much, Katie. It was a pleasure to be with you.
Yeah, so we'll be in touch. And
we will. Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good one. Thank you.
Namaste. Bye-bye.
Namaste. Bye.